As the popular star of CSI for 12 years, Marg Helgenberger was one of the top paid women on television. These days, she's returned to her theater roots to explore the struggles of women in the workplace in Teresa Rebeck's What We're Up Against at the Women's Project Theater. We recently sat down with the Emmy winner to find out what brought her back to the stage. Hi, Marg. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to be here.
Oh, you're off Broadway. You're back on stage. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, especially now, I think the show's in pretty good shape. We've had a few previews already.
It is in good shape. I saw it.
And yes, thank you. And it's a wonderful cast and great piece of writing. And I'm proud to be in that company of that stellar group.
So I know you did The Little Foxes last year at Arena Stage, right?
Yes.
Which I heard was fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
So it seems like you're kind of putting energy into doing theater work.
Yes. I've been trying to get back to the stage. Well, I had, years of doing a lot of television and film work. I'd always wanted to go back. I mean, I did a lot of like staged readings and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And benefits. When I did the other place in the Berkshires at the Barrington Stage Company, it was the first time I'd done a full-blown production of a play since college. But I did it. Now this Little Foxes I did, and then now What We're Up Against.
I love it. So What We're Up Against, this is Teresa Rebeck's play. She sort of wrote this years ago. I think she's been working on it. It's sort of been something, it sounds like she's been kind of living with this script for a long time.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that she wrote it as a one-act, and it was in conjunction with some kind of a workshop thing in which women writers were kind of trying to emulate male playwrights or something, and this was like her kind of answer or homage to David Mamet.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So let's set it up. We're in an architectural firm, right?
Yes.
Krista Rodriguez, who's very known to our viewers.
Yes.
She plays sort of this young girl who was recently hired. You play Janice. Janice has been there a while, right? She sort of knows the landscape.
Well, Janice has been at the firm for 6 years, and Janice is one of those people so dependable. You can count on her. She will take on menial tasks as much as she doesn't really like to. She'd much rather have more of a design input, but she realizes that this is how you keep your job and how you do advance. And I guess, and she has been given opportunities to design now. Krista. Her character's name is Eliza. She comes in out hot shot out of a architectural firm, and she just doesn't understand the way it works. She just thinks, I don't know why I can't design this. I am certainly skilled, and she just takes it upon herself to be a little sneaky about it and prove her point that I am capable and even more capable than some of these, as she says, boneheads that you've hired.
What do you think it says about sort of women working together, working maybe a little against each other? I mean, it explores this dynamic between them.
Yeah, I like the fact that all of the characters, all of the characters are flawed, and I do like the fact that sometimes women she addresses in the play that women do sometimes undermine each other, and I like that. I like that people, everybody's got their good side and their bad side, and I think. And given the fact that there's a big generational difference between Eliza and Janice, so I think Janice probably does feel, even though she's always taken the high road, and I think she probably does feel a little threatened by this young upstart who is talented. She'll acknowledge that, but people have to do what they have to do in order to survive.
Do you think this says anything, this play says things about the world larger than this, your Hollywood experience, or is there anything sort of larger here? You've had amazing success. I mean, you were one of the highest paid women on television, right? CSI.
At one time I was,
It's a huge success. So you've sort of seen the top of your game.
No, I mean, certainly I think the themes that are explored in this play apply to any business, and it certainly, obviously what's happening, and there's a lot of attention on what happens in Hollywood right now, the harassment and sexual assault charges against numerous men, and which is appalling. It's just, it's revolting. I mean, I personally have not had any experience with being sexually harassed. I will say, though, I've certainly been subjected to misogyny. I mean, just being on a set, and I had already been seasoned, actor at this point. It's first ADs. I'd be in a scene with an actor who's number one on the call sheet, and I'm number two, and the first AD, who's a guy, would direct all the directions from the director just to him. I mean, not even like make eye contact with me. And we're in the scene together. And I finally said something. I just was like appalled by it. I said it to my co-star, and he goes, "What are you talking about?" He was completely oblivious to it. And I go, so I just went directly to the source and nipped that in the bud. It's so irritating and it's so annoying. And sometimes you speak up, and sometimes you just say, "Let it go. It's just not worth the hassle." And that's sort of what Janice that reflects what Janice does in the play. She kind of like, there's a lot of times in which she's been dismissed or like had some sort of like snarky comment made about her, and she just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna like let that slide off my back and continue on and carry on and take the high road.
Right. I've loved you in so many things over the years.
Thank you.
China Beach and Erin Brockovich come to mind immediately.
Thanks.
I love those especially. But I'm really upset I didn't see your Blanche Dubois. Isn't that where it all started?
Yes.
I mean, that was sort of like a bit. How old were you when you played Blanche Dubois?
I was 20, I think. I was 20. Yeah, because I was at Northwestern.
Right.
And yes, in fact, prior to that, because I had gone to a college in Nebraska for 2 years and then transferred to Northwestern. And at that college in Nebraska, I did a lot of musicals, and as well as I did a couple at Northwestern
really?
too. I know Krista said that to me too. She says,
I want to hear about your musicals.
She said, you've got a pretty good voice because there's all that great '90s music in the in the play, and we'll sing along backstage, right? Anyway, so I did all these musicals, and then I
tell me a few musical roles. Just
okay.
Come on.
I was in Three Penny Opera with, get this, I played Low Dive Jenny, and the one of the women that was in my brothel, harem, whatever, was Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Wow. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I know. Mame.
Mame?
Yes.
Were you Mame?
No, I wasn't. I was this character Gloria Upson.
Okay.
And I was in Kismet. I was in Pippin.
Okay.
Guys in Dolls.
Magic to do.
You
had a lot of magic to do. You did it. Yeah, you did a lot of this stuff. I love it. Okay.
Yeah. But so then, Streetcar Named Desire, I did. That was. I had done plays before, but that was like that's so iconic and like everybody. Blanche Dubois is like considered to be one of the great roles for women of all time, and so that, and after having done put myself through the paces of that play, I thought maybe I could have a career at this because it's so demanding, and I did it at such a young age. Of course, it's one of those roles that you keep thinking, oh, I'm going to come back to that when I'm the right age. And now I've passed that age.
I don't know. I would still like to see you do it.
Thanks. I would too. I mean, like the stage. That's what's another one of the great things about the stage is that your age range. It's not like a camera where you're so like.
You look fantastic.
Matter. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just hope you can do more theater. I'm excited you're on stage.
Thank you. Me too.
And what we're up against is playing through November 26th.
Correct.
At the Women's Project Theater on the Upper West Side.
With a possible extension to December 3rd.
Possible extension. And it's a little intimate theater, and it's so great to be in there close to this amazing cast.
Oh, I mean, that front row. We're literally like a foot.
You can smell them. They're so close. Well, thank you for coming by, and congratulations, and I hope we get to see you do more
Thanks,
on the
Paul.
stage.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
Thank you.